Okay, part 3 of the B44.2 diff page. This is how I like to break in my diffs when I'm building them at home. Obviously, if you have to redo one at the track, there's other ways and other methods, and I'll do a quick demo of that once I get the electronics on and get a battery charged up and get this kit completed. And we'll do a break in on the table with the kit built as well. But this is how I like to do it at home. Box stock build on the diff. Didn't sand the rings. I prefer not to sand mine. The way I like to break my diff in works great. Sometimes I actually will get 4 or 5 weeks and the diff feel just as new and smooth as the day I built it, like it is right now. Just perfect. And this is the procedure I use, and you can give it a try if you want sometime, see how you like it. And like I say, there's other ways too, but the trick here is you want to use the short end in the chuck, in the drill, and this is a drill, you put it in the chuck. You want to get this to where it just turns on this side. And I've sped up the process a little bit. I started a little further back on this little T-nut right here. It was actually a little bit further back, but I'm trying to speed up the process a little bit and not take up too much of your time on this, because this procedure could be skipped pretty easily. It's not a necessity to build in the kit if you're in a hurry or something. But I got a little extra time, and I've posted this up on RC Tech a couple times, and this will give me an opportunity to demonstrate what I'm trying to say. Anywho, you put that in there and you just lightly tighten the chuck down, and then you just run it at a low speed. Now you want to do that for about, half a minute, 30 seconds or so. And it's going to give those diff balls a chance to seat into the ring. And it's a clean way to do it. It's a slow process. You don't heat it up or take a risk of barking the diff when you lay it on the track and you're trying to get that fine-tuned adjustment and get it just right. By doing it this way, it gives those rings a chance to seat real deep and real smooth on the diff balls. Now, you do that for about 30 seconds or even a minute. If you've got the time to do it, the more the better. You're just going to want to just maybe tighten it up about a rotation at a time. And it'll take about 5 steps of doing this. And then the T-nut will bottom out in here, and that'll be your final seating process, we'll call it, or break-in process. So let me do this some more here. Okay, and I'm going to change the direction on this next one, so I'm reversing the drill. And then as you're doing this, you can just kind of go like that, and you can just kind of feel if you're getting smoother or grittier, or if you're getting chunks in there. You can get an idea if your diff is going to be any good or not. If it starts feeling real gritty or chunky, then you know you're going to have to finish the break-in process. Probably best to stop it at that point, take it apart and clean everything, but you can go ahead and finish it, and then you can take it all apart, clean it, put it all back together, and see if you got rid of the chunkiness or the grittiness. Now, you're going to feel some resistance, and it's probably not going to feel butter smooth by hand. And the reason why it's not going to feel butter smooth by hand is because your hands are more sensitive. But once you put the tires on there, it's going to feel like butter. It's just going to be great. Now, I just tightened that on down to the point that the T nut is bottomed out in this little groove here in where the CVD pin slides in. So that's fully bottomed out, tensioned out. Can't go any tighter. You're just going to be pinching the diff spring down, and you're going to be basically putting a lot of pressure on this T-nut. So at that point, you're at the factory setting point where you're going to want to do this part. And that's this part right here where it gives you a diagram. You're going to take your L-shaped wrench. You're just going to back that up about 1/8 of an inch. Or 1/8 of a turn, I'm sorry. Just back that up about 1/8 of a turn. And that is your factory setting. That is pretty much your set it and forget it. You're going to break in your diff at this point. You shouldn't have to even tighten it until those rings are set so much. They've done a lot of testing with these diffs, and that factory setting's pretty dead on. It's real tight right now. You're going to feel a little bit of grittiness, but that's okay. It's not bad. You're going to get that. And now you're going to run it in some more at that setting. And the nice thing about this is you're going to be able to throw this in your car and just run it. It's going to keep working in. It's going to get a little bit looser. If it gets so loose to the point your diff is barking, then you can either loosen up your slipper because it may be too tight, or you can leave your slipper alone and choose to tighten your diff a little bit. And I think most of you guys by now probably have one of these little diff tools. This is the greatest tool you'll ever use. This thing, you can just stick that thing in there without pulling ball cups and do a fine-tune adjustment. This is a handy tool when it comes time to table, break in, or set up your slipper and diff on the track. So if you don't have one of these made yet, you can get with me on the .2 thread on RC Tac over on the Electric Off-Road forums, and I'll show you how to build one. Heck, I might even do a video on it. At any rate, we got this tightened down now. We're going to go ahead and run it in as if we just threw the car on the track, because this is the factory box stock manual setting. And we're going to go ahead and break it in right here on the table. Okay, we're going to call that good. Now I can throw this in the kit just the way it is right now and go race it. It's ready. It's a good idea to build your diffs, have them broke in at the house or even at the track, do it with a drill. That way, if you have to do a quick diff change, poof, there it is. It's ready to go. It's broke in. You don't got to do nothing. It's already at the factory setting, and all your other diffs are pretty much going to be at the factory setting. So it's like a no-brainer. You're tuned and ready to go. And this one here, I don't know if you can see it there or not, but this is my front diff. I've already done this one to save us time. I tighten it all the way down, and I only back it off a 1/16 of a turn. So when I break it in for the last break-in procedure, I just turn it about that much, about a 1/16 of a turn, and then I break it in, and I got it marked with an F, so I know it goes in the front. It's already set. It's broke in and ready to go. It's just a little bit tighter than the rear one. Now, I haven't got to do a whole lot of testing and experimenting with it yet, but there was a fellow on the .2 thread or some thread on RC Tech. He mentioned he likes to loosen his diffs in between races. In other words, on when his kid's just sitting around on off days and it's just sitting there idle on his bench at home, he likes to loosen his diffs up, so there ain't no spring tension against them. And I thought, I'm not going to be running this thing for a couple weeks, probably next Saturday. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on that tip. I think it's a good idea. I run my kit 2 and 3 times a week, so it's probably not worth loosening between each race day. But being it's going to be sitting on the bench for a while, I'm going to go ahead and loosen that. I thought it'd be a great idea. Although I've been talking to people at the track, and we're kind of in agreement. This has been working real good for me. Why change it? But I thought, what the heck? It can't hurt anything. There can't be any ill effect from it. So when it comes time that I'm going to hit the track, I'm going to want to tighten this thing back down to the factory setting, and I should be ready to go because all the rings have been seated, all the balls have been seated in the rings, everything's broke in, it's smooth, there's nothing gritty in there, it's not chunky, it's not wobbly, everything's good. I can run it. So I'm going to call that a wrap on page 4, and bag A for step 1, bag AA for step 2. We've done the cleaning, we've covered that, we've covered the stock build, and we've covered breaking it in. So we are ready to move on to page 5, and we're going to get into some drive shafts and pinions and gearboxes. So I'm going to call that a wrap for now, and when we do the gearboxes, we will excuse me, when we do that, we'll do some shimming, because I would do my shims right now, but I want to show you guys a couple things I've worked with on these things. And here's a little trick I like to use. See how that worked? Boy, it makes getting these things a lot easier if you just take a pin. See how I did that? You know how they're in this bag? They're always kind of, if you lay them out on the table, you're trying to get those things. Them things are paper thin. They're hard to pick up, but check this out. This is a good little trick for keeping them all organized. Get them babies lined up. Get your pin in there and just pick them all up at once if you can. Put them on that pin like that, and that way when you need some, you can just Look at that. There's 3 right there. Boom. There's something for you to have a pin ready. Alright, fellas. I'm going to download this video and I'm going to link them up on the .2 thread. And we'll be able to move on to the next page. I want to get this bad boy put together anyway. I got to work this weekend, but next weekend I want to be ready to do some racing. So, you guys have a good one. I'll see you later.